Hey, what's going on, ladies and gentlemen? I'm Duffy Duck here once again, and I'm back for some more yet again for the likes of the Maxi Toys videos. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back for some more of Let's Play of Team Sonic Racing for the PlayStation 4, Xbox One, PC, Steam, and of course the Nintendo Switch. So, excuse me, I'm really sorry about this point, folks, I really am. So, last time we have managed to able to complete done with some smaller selections of challenges in Journey forms within Chapter 3, including the forms of the actual Team Grand Prix, which usually goes for about 20 minutes or so. So today for this episode is the fact that we're also able to wrap things up in Chapter 3, while going on to, well, just the last 4 challenges, as far as I can remember. So either way though, let's get started by going through, no matter what though, I think I should probably save this one for later, but let's go and get this challenge over with, which is of course Daredevil challenge. You know exactly, I'm not a huge fan of those particular challenges, I have to admit though right away, just because, man, they can be pretty difficult at times, especially noticeable where, if you really want to get yourselves your stars with it, you have to get yourself silver or platinum medals for surely, so, you know, you get the idea for that solutions for that specific points, as you know. Okay, so I'm gonna have to quickly do a jump cut right there, because this took me 11 attempts to able to actually do this right, because I swear to God that I was literally so close to able to actually reach onto that silver medal count. And by the way, that to get, some progressioning, as far as you guys should already know, is the fact that you really can't afford to get a bronze, because if you do get a bronze, then you're probably not going to get able to proceed at this point. So you have to specifically get yourselves a silver, or a platinum, or gold, if depending on what skillfuls you are, like as you can solve from that specific point right there. So, even then, I'm still not a big fan of those Daredevil challenges in this game, honestly, because they can be pretty much difficult to able to execute it from. So, okay, something's worth mentioning too is the fact that this is going to be the shortest episode of this entire Let's Play so far. This is most likely because of how the fact that I just want to able to classify for something out there. And so whenever we get on to the halfway point of the game, I'm also able to actually decide to take a break until, well, I guess the point until November or something like this at this point. So because of that though, most fans out there were expecting to able to let me go back onto, you know, Donkey Kong Jungle Beat until on May, which I could appreciate it about that stuff and understand for that solution right there. Just because of how the fact that it seems that most people seem to really enjoy our Let's Play of Donkey Kong Jungle Beats, that's for sure. So anyway, so regardless of everything else though, we finally got ourselves the actual silver medal as we needed, plus only 1 star in that particular front. So either way though, that's not much else to talk about. So either way though, and now we've actually unlocked the next challenge, which appears to be a traffic attack, which this time around though it takes place in, well, Pinball Highway, and this time we'll select Vector, the crocodile, so hopefully we would be able to actually just, you know, play as many characters as we want, but whenever we move on to the next chapter, which, fundamentally speaking, after we're done with Chapter 3, I'm pretty sure we might as well able to actually just to unlock the final team in Journey forms within the Team Adventure mode, because unlike, you know, free race, or in this case, local, mode or something like that you get all the characters from the get-go, including Dr. Eggman and Metal Sonic, and especially noticeable with, oh, that's the first. I'm really getting sick of my GameCube controller with my trigger buttons. I will promise you guys until new forms of likely on Friday, I will be able to start to be using my Nintendo Switch Pro controller, because that way it makes things a little bit more easier and simple. So even then I have no idea why I just keep messing things up due to the forms of the lack of acceleration and stuff like that. So, but you know, you get the idea for that little solution for that point. So anyway, a few things I want to explain about this actually. Obviously today's day is of course, what day is it today? I forgot. I think it's like the 13th of Wednesday, the May today, in this case in 2020. In this case, to be more specifically, we're actually on the unlucky 13th day. Well, not so much in the forms of Friday the 13th, the most unluckiest day out of them all, which it wasn't going to happen until specifically in I will classify for saying until November this year, which it will be the unlucky day for that regard, which even then though, that makes it a little bit more obvious for that specific caption and all that. So anyway, let's go ahead and keep on driving forward, and hopefully we would be able to bypass those little gates, and sometimes I keep on getting spin out every once in a while, but that's okay, because even then though, I'm pretty sure traffic attack is usually to be expected if you ever played, you know, Sonic and All-Stars Racing Transformed before. So yeah, I'm most likely used to that. So unlike Ring Attack or even Daredevils, that I seem to be not very good at them. But hopefully whenever we get onto the forms of the later portions of you know, in Team Adventure mode, then we can expect we can able to hop into the forms of probably the coolest challenges ever. But then again though, we'll point more about it whenever we get onto that stuff. So, oh well, we'll take a silver medal, and plus we're able to achieve just only 1 star. I could wish I was able to improve upon that stuff, but nope, that's not the case here. So either way though, we're gonna have to leave it to that, I suppose. So, I suppose before we move on to the forms of the survival race, in this case the final challenge in Chapter 3, let's go ahead and just deal with team race in Market Street. So hopefully we would be able to actually just to do pretty much the same thing as in level or stage 3-2, except, well, it takes place in a different level this time, so, you know.
Well, look who decided to show up. Are you actually gonna try to win, or are you just here to do Eggman's bidding?
I always try, and I always succeed. I'm not here for you, and I'm not working with the Doctor. I'm here to put an end to his evil plans.
Fair enough. You could never beat me anyway. Oh, and don't worry, I'll stop Eggman for you.
Sonic, I'm the ultimate life form. I could never lose to you.
Tell you what, how about I challenge you to a race to see who's the best?
Challenge accepted. Although there is no challenge.
So anyway, let's go ahead and get started with Market Street, which I don't know if this might actually be the new stage or something like that, but if you guys can clearly tell already, this is my another jump cut for the sake of time, just because I swear to God, the computer AI, at least it doesn't matter what difficulty I'm in, I'm usually still stuck with normal mode, not just hard or expert mode, but dear lord, what is happening to my team? But even then I'm just gonna skip that dialogue, because it plays out pretty much exactly the same as in when you used to remember from the likes of Pinball Highway. So, oh man, this music is pretty cool though, because it's almost like a Spagonia remakes in the forms of Rooftop Run, which I think is actually pretty cool. And I think this is actually another one of those Spagonia-like courses that we can able to drive to. So even then though, really curious to see how this actually turns out, but even then though, so far so good. It kind of reminds me like I was driving through, or in this case just boosting through Rooftop Run from the likes of Sonic Unleashed and Sonic Generations. So, but even then though, except the fact that we're actually dealing with the actual kart racing syndrome. So even then though, that makes it a little bit obvious for that little differences between the other Sonic games than what we used to. So either way though, that's all I can really say about this for this point here. So if in case you're probably wondering, that's the reason why this video is going to be super short compared to the forms of how it does it, or somewhat of a decent length compared to the ones in the usual long length videos compared to the forms of the previous days ago. This is pretty obvious because I'm usually just, well, not just by the forms of likely just go paranoid when it comes to likely doing multiple jump cuts for a multitude of failures I have to do, but it's also because of how the fact that, well, relatively speaking, it's the fact that, well, if my GameCube controller just sometimes usually becomes not working with me properly in journey forms of my R shoulder buttons and stuff like that, then I'm also able to actually just replace that into a Nintendo Switch Pro controller, and so at some point during, you know, the next video, so even then I was able to point it out. So anyway, let's just go ahead and just drift along from here. It's actually a cool shortcut you can able to take, rather than just taking on to the longer pathway you can take, so at least I appreciate about that. At least I accidentally discovered that since during the forms of my first attempt on this particular stage, so, but even then, that's not much else I can usually just trying to speak off from that such. And I have no idea, who's in the lead, by the way? Oh, I think it's, to be more specifically, Team Dark. That, I'm not exactly sure what the players are, just because, then again, it's kind of hard to see whenever I was gonna do commentary, whenever I was able to see what's going on the map, so... Because every single icons, well, specifically the face icons, is actually pretty small. So, but either way, that's all I can really think about it. Oh, sweet, I've got, you know, some more black bombs. So hopefully I should be able to just use these until when it gets to the point whenever we are just able to catch up to the others. So, yeah, I suppose another thing I should probably mention is also is the fact that, well, I suppose I forgot to mention to you guys about something ever since Journey Forms have been, let's say on Friday, the 8th of May. First of all, yesterday, I recently managed to get myself, Sonic at the Olympic Games Tokyo 2020 for the iPhone devices. And I was really looking forward to it, just to play on day one. But however, though, unfortunately, though, it does seem to happen a lot of people out there. But even then, you know what also reminds me of? It almost reminds me of back in the day, 5 years ago, that the one time I used to have Sonic Runners, but it's no longer functional anymore due to the forms of the community itself has been shut down. Well, at least even then, they got the revival version of that specifically the same game, but except the fact that they actually added in some new features or something. But anyway, let's just go ahead and just use the Team Ultimate until just right now, and hopefully we would be able to claim first place for reals, and to be expected, we did, even though despite the fact that my teammates, specifically Sonic and Knuckles, sometimes usually just trying to mess things up completely in terms of, well, trying to become a winner and stuff like that, which, to be honest with you, it does get a little bit aggravating, especially noticeable when we move on to the next few levels worth noting for. So, but even then, that's far from the case. So, anyway, so let's see what points we got. Okay, so we still managed to win. So, whew, that's actually pretty close. And I think let's finally move on to the final challenge in Chapter 3.
Perhaps you could be useful in assisting me to thwart the Doctor's plan after all, Sonic.
Wow, that's awfully big of you, Shadow. But I'm not sure it's just Eggman's plan we've got to smash.
Agreed. Dodonpa's motivations are a mystery to me, as are his loyalties. But be assured, if he's working with the Doctor, I'll crush him too.
Alright then, so let's go ahead and get ourselves 3 more stars, plus a special key, so that way we would be able to just do like a bragging rights kind of syndrome or something. So, anyways, let's head on to Frozen Junkyard once again, except now we're about to be taking on the forms of the survival race. And let's go ahead and select Blaze, so that way we can able to easily beat them.
Racers, you've performed surprisingly well so far. The information I've acquired from watching you will prove most useful.
I am a princess, not your little performance monkey.
Monkey, princess, all the same to me. The real question is, are you a survivor?
I have survived worse than you.
Let's test that, shall we?
Okay, so I'm gonna have to able to do once again another jump cut, because for the love of God, I'm so sick of the rubber banding AI in this game sometimes. But either way though, that's sickening, because that's so sickening. Why do you have to able to program such as this? I have no idea. I'll just keep on ranting at this point, but even then, that's all I can really imagine about saying that. Alright, so let's get to it with, you know, basically just not get annihilated. Well, usually, relatively speaking, I did manage to do this on the first attempt, but sadly though, we did manage to lose because of, for one noticeable thing, computer AI is actually doing really good, and second is that our teammate decides to able to go far behind compared to, I would say we did manage to get beaten by let's just say by Team Dark, I'm assuming. So yeah, that's kind of a little bit of an upsetting moment for me though, at least, because I was literally so close to able to actually just get in first place. So as a result, I accidentally managed to able to got myself into certain unlockables as you expect, and plus because of how the fact that, well, it doesn't allow me to able to select retry if you somehow manage to lose the race, unlike the ones in Sonic Riders and Sonic Riders Zero Gravity, and even Sonic Free Riders that allows you to able to have an option to like retry a mission or something. Well, granted, if you somehow manage to try to like get used to with the actual Kinect controls in Sonic Free Riders, that will be the only problematic, especially noticeable if you're trying to take control of the menus and stuff. Like, you're gonna have to keep on pointing your hand as the actual cursor, and then you just have to, God forbid, trying to select the correct option. Which, even then, though, that's the perfect example of why that most people seem to keep on asking about that will Sonic Free Riders be able to get a port to the next generation of consoles on the PlayStation 4 as well as Xbox One and Nintendo Switch without any motion controls. Well, it might be true, but then again though, because the coronavirus situation has been still happening, and as a result of that kind of stuff though, we have no idea at the moment, because, you know, it just feels kind of, you know, bare bones as you would think. So anyway, anyways, let's talk about the forms of my experience of Sonic at the Olympic Games Tokyo 2020 on the smartphones. For what I played on the first time in Journey Forms of in Day 1, for whatever reason, it just won't allow me to able to play the game because of the actual internet connection, or in this case the online play, does not even sync up correctly. So as a result, during later on in Journey Forms of in Friday, which is the day I did manage to previously upload this and during Part 3 or something like that, what happens is the fact that I've now managed to able to finally play the game again, and hopefully we won't be able to come across into a lot of game crashes unlike the ones in my Mario Kart Tour, despite the fact that I still managed to get myself my downgraded phone compared to the rest of you all, and that's only because of how the fact that it does attempt to have a lot of game crashes in Journey Forms on that specific front. So yeah, that's kind of annoying, and it's way inconsistent for most of the time. So anyway, that's as far as I can usually think about it. So, alright, so who's gonna get annihilated? Dr. Eggman, Eggpon, and Tails. So, oh boy, we got Team Dark to face off against. Oh boy. You see what I mean when it comes to forms of team-based gameplay? Sometimes it just gets like, although it's not my kind of choice though, because even then I kind of prefer racing against with just individual players rather than just team-based gameplay. Although team-based gameplay was actually a cool idea, like ever since in Sonic Heroes as a platformer. But for kart racing on the other hand though, it is a cool idea. I like the concept of it, but it's just that, well, most of the time our partners does not even seem to able to help me out most of the time. Which I think that will be the only major gripe I have with this, you know? But that's probably just me anyway, though. That's probably just me. So anyways, let's go ahead and just hopefully try to dodge a lot of, you know, hazards, such as, of course, the Death Egg Robot's lasers and stuff like that. So, you know, ever since in Sonic Forces, by the way. So, either way, though, that's all I can really say about it here. Alright, so let's go ahead and hop on here. And hopefully drift along to this side right here. And there we go. We did manage to hopefully get ourselves into first place. Which as a result, there we go. That's much better. I know it's generally because of how the fact that it's similar to the ones and how it does it on that previous recording session, which I used to do. But then most of the time, yeah, it's just the rubber banding AI sometimes in this game. Just really throws me off all of a sudden, so... But I digress. So, yeah, we did manage to finally win here. And, I suppose let's go ahead and leave. Yeah, as you can see on that option selection, I have to do this twice.
Looks like you lose again, Eggman. What does that make, like 1,000,000 times or something?
I don't keep score.
Ooh, I do. It's exactly 227,000.
Oh, zip it, Orbot! Looks like I need to up my game.
So yeah, because of that, much like in Chapter 1, I somehow accidentally unlocked not only just 1 star, but also the different team we've actually unlocked this time, which appears to be Team Dark, which represents, you know, Shadow, Rouge, and E123 Omega. So, and now let's move on to Chapter 4, which even then though, and we actually get to start things off, is probably my favorite selections of challenges. And before we get on to that, the chapter is named Cheats Never Pursuer, which I think that's what the name of that P word stands for. I do not know because I never actually know about words sometimes.
You all think you're so great at racing? Well, let's see how you handle a few egg pawns in your way. Scratch that. A few 100 egg pawns.
The angry man's obstacles will test their teamwork even further.
Exterminate egg pawns.
Team Dark, let's slag these robots.
Race you to see who can take care of Eggman's toys the quickest, Shadow.
Okay, so let's get started with the first challenge in terms of Chapter 4, and that is of course the egg pawn assault, which I have to say that, as I mentioned this before already, this is by far one of the coolest challenges in the whole game. Most notably because it kind of reminds me of Road Rage mode from the likes of not only Burnout 3, but Burnout's Revenge, and also Burnout Legends for the PSP, if you want to count that. And same applies to Burnout Dominator, if you want to count that as well, and even the Burnout Paradise as a result too. So basically in this challenge right here is the fact that we need to do a lot of destruction. So even then though, and as you can tell, we got ourselves you know, 3 orange wisps that we're able to actually use to our dispersal if you come across into an item box and stuff like that. That way you can able to actually either just hit these egg pawns, or you can able to actually run into them by simply able to drive straight to them. And you can also just rank up points, and I don't think there's any... oh yeah, there's a time progression too, so even then that's all cool and all. But basically in this mission, sometimes they actually give us 4 different kinds of egg pawns, which the yellow ones are very standard ones, and blue ones, I don't know about the blue ones specifically, but I do know that the pink ones does manage to able to give themselves the spikes shield. And basically what happens there is the fact that, well, you can't able to actually drive right into the actual pink robots. The only time you can only defeat them is of course utilizing the actual orange wisps. So even then though, that's all I can really say about it here. So even then though, it looks like we've almost had the actual gold medal so far, which so far so good anyway though, because even then though, well, despite I just keep on slip up for most specific segments worth noting for, just because of how the fact that I wasn't paying too much attention. So either way though, we're just gonna have to accept that. So anyways, what in the world? What's going on right there? Whatever. Nonetheless, I might be perfectly fine if I was gonna able to try to get myself just gold in general. I wish I was gonna get the platinum, but I just keep slipping up. So even then, oh well, beggar sales can't be choosers, I suppose. Beggar sales can't be choosers. So either way, at least we've only got 1 star at least. So either way though, we can able to proceed to the continuation on Chapter 4, but then again, it's not gonna happen until on Friday, sadly.
Egg pawns exterminated.
Yeah, but I don't think that's the end of them.
You got that right, Tails. I can build them faster than you can break them.
More egg pawns to exterminate. Excellent.
So yeah, for this case, it's the fact that, well, we're gonna have to end things off here. So join me next time on Let's Play Team Sonic Racing. I know this video is kind of in a decent length, as I said before, but we have to do it anyway, just for the sake of the longest thing coming up on Friday. So yeah, next time on that Let's Play is the fact that we are continuing things on Chapter 4. So see you guys on Friday. Later, fellas.